Hello everyone, this is Indra Bartona with the Positivity Vibe Tribe, and today we're talking abundance mindset with our special guest Clint Murphy. And here we have our co-host has arrived, Ron. Welcome. Okay, I've just sent you the...
Hello, Indra.
Hello, good morning. Hey, and we have our special guest is here too. Let me send you over, Clint, the speaker. How you doing, Ron?
I'm fantastic, and I just want to wish you a happy birthday again.
Thank you so much. That's why I was a little bit late. Birthday.
Yes, I was wondering if I was late or if I was missing.
It's all good. Birthday festivities were happening. Okay. Let me set Rev up, our other co-host. Welcome, everybody. Clint, just sending you over the speaker again. Not sure if you got that. Okay. Yes, actually, you sound a little bit faint. Can you try again?
How about now?
Yes, that is better. It's still a little bit faint. I'm not sure why. Let me turn my... Yes, that's better. Thank you, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Welcome.
On mine too.
Sorry, Rev?
Is it better now on yours, Rev?
You still sound a little low.
Okay, let me see if I...
Yeah, like it sounds like you're far away, like from the phone or from the mic.
Okay, I'm moving it closer. And I'll make sure it... That should be loud.
Yes, I think so. What do you think? How's it for you, Rev? Ron, how's the sound from Clint?
I still don't. I'm not hearing it. It was low the last time. Like you said, it was sounded.
Yeah, a bit low.
I'm not hearing anything now.
Oh, I wasn't talking now.
Oh, okay, that sounds a little bit better.
Okay, good.
Yeah. It is definitely better, Clint, but it's still a little bit, it's lower than how you normally sound. So not sure what's going on.
Let me see if I close the door, if that'll help.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Positivity Vibe Tribe. Great to see you all arriving here. Love to see all your faces. Amazing. Hey, Asia, of course, Lance and Karen are here. Divya, wow. Peter's here. Ray, Dino. Wow, love seeing everybody. Hey, everyone, have fun in the chat. Far right-hand corner, down the bottom, we have the chat feature, and love for you to all get into the chat and have some fun in there. We truly have been enjoying this new feature of the chat, so please enjoy chatting it up amongst yourselves and with us. Ron will be definitely jumping in there. I know Rev will be all over it. And I certainly know Lance and Karen will be in the chat. If they're not already there, they're already there. See, what did I say? They are there in the chat. So there is no holding this Positivity Vibe Tribe back from chatting it up. Love that so much. So yes, and welcome everybody, because today we have, again, look, this is one of my favorite topics, and I know I say that a lot, but it is abundance mindset. Simply is, I mean, so many things stem from the abundance mindset. And today, again, we are so honored to have Clint Murphy back with us in the Positivity Vibe Tribe. Welcome, welcome, Clint.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yay! Okay, thank you, Ron.
And happy
Oh,
birthday.
thank you so much. I feel truly blessed to spend it with everybody here. What a start to the day. Well, there was a 6 a.m. start with a workout, and what a workout that was. I'm going to brag because it's my birthday, but for a girl, I leg pressed 2.5 times my body weight. So we are off to a great and powerful birthday. How's that? Okay. Let me head up to the nest. Oh, before we do that, everyone, we do this new thing where we actually invite you to tweet out the space. And now the best way to tweet out is to go to the arrow at the top of the page and hit that and copy the link and then tweet as normal. Go to your usual page we're going to tweet out from, and then hit the link and then just tweet that out. You don't even have to say anything. Just tweet it out to share it. And then what we do is later on, Ron is going to choose somebody and we're going to read out your profile and highlight you. So that is just like a little thank you that we have for you tweeting out the space. So thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. So we can bring more people into the space, of course, and share in this abundance mindset conversation. So let's check out the nest while everybody's tweeting out. So first thing up on the nest, yes, I am truly excited. This is still fairly new for me. The VIP club with the monthly paid subscription of super followers. So, of course, it is exclusive content, exclusive first release on videos, exclusive super followers spaces that we have. And it truly is a lot of fun to be in there to talk about all the Hollywood stuff, my experience as a TV host and currently as a producer in Hollywood working on my movie, and then anything else that comes up, spirituality. Last time we even did a full circle to talk about healthy living and nutrition because my mum's a nutritionist, so I shared a lot of things there as well. So it was truly a blessing. Okay, and then thank you to our sponsors, Wordsmith Pakistan. Thank you so much for being our sponsors and appreciate all the beautiful content creation work that you do. All of their contact information is up in the nest. And when I talk about the nest, I'm talking about the dots above Rev and Ron's head. Yes. And then up in the nest is also our community link to join the Positivity Vibe Tribe community. So if you haven't had the pleasure of dropping into our community, you will truly be amazed and inspired. And I'm talking about all of you amazing community members. Everything that you share, every time I go there, it just warms my heart. So thank you. Okay, and then lastly, up in the nest is the Abundance Mindset YouTube video. And that's my take on abundance mindset. And also really appreciate your subscribe to my YouTube channel, especially because it's my birthday, everybody. That would be the perfect gift for me to subscribe to my channel and help me grow. Love it. Okay, and Clint, please feel free to post one of your wonderful threads, at least, if not more, or anything else that you would like to post up there. A link about your podcast, about anything else, just go for gold. There is no limitation. You are a special guest, so please do feel free to post up there.
I'll put a tweet from today's thread, and I think you will like the idea.
Oh, I'm excited. Amazing. Okay, love it. And
all right, there it is.
Awesome. I'm having a look now.
That's just for you.
Oh, wow.
Abundance is greater than scarcity.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Wow, we are so spoiled here in the Positivity Vibe Tribe that this was catered just for our topic today. So everyone, make sure that you do go up to the nest and have a look at what Clint just posted, and also follow our special guest today, Clint Murphy. All right, let's make an official start in this space. My apologies, everyone. I was a little bit late, but it was my birthday, so busy celebrating and festivities were underway very early today. All right. So, hello everyone in the Positivity Vibe Tribe space today. I'm Indra Bartona, a producer in the film and television industry and a TV host. Originally from the Gold Coast, Australia, lived in London for several years and now based in Los Angeles. A little bit of background on Positivity Vibe Tribe. I started my YouTube channel in June last year with a positive vibe lifestyle theme. And then Positivity Vibe Tribe became my personal brand. Now, Positivity Vibe Tribe Twitter Spaces is the natural evolution to bridge the gap between all social media platforms and bring them to life, most importantly, with conversations and full engagement from all of you. In PVT Spaces, the topics that we talk about is, of course, abundance mindset, self-care, gratitude, mindfulness, law of attraction, meditation, affirmations, and so much more. Today, I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts. First of all, RevMac Live, a social audio guru. And then also we are joined by our other moderator, Ron Perry, who is not only the community head honcho moderator, in charge of the team over there, but he's also a talented musician and podcaster. And then thank you to our moderators. We love and appreciate all of you for all the work that you do over there. Truly, truly grateful. So let's share a little bit of Clint before we dig deep into many things that he's going to share about abundance mindset. So Clint is a husband and a father of 2 young boys. By day, he's a chief financial officer, and in the evenings, he reads, invests, writes a fantasy novel series, and hosts the Pursuit of Learning podcast. So Clint has recently been interviewed on the Positivity Vibe Tribe YouTube channel, so you guys can look forward to that, and I will certainly be posting that everywhere. That was just last week, and we had such a wonderful conversation. Welcome, Clint. We're so blessed to have you here again.
Thanks for having me. It was great to have a conversation with you last week and do it over video. That was a very fun experience, and look forward to us doing part 2. We had so much fun. We're going to go for a second round.
Absolutely. So we are going to get our editors are going to be super busy doing that, and next time we can have some of your precious time. That's going to be amazing to jump on that journey with you, and I know that everybody in the community is going to be excited to see this video. So let's launch into our first question. Tell us about your Twitter account, Clint, and the focus of your content. Because, I mean, I'm truly a great fan, and I know a lot of people here really enjoy your content. And actually, before you answer that, I was so inspired by one of the threads that you had about Excel sheets. And, you know, I always think, oh, yes, I know lots of stuff about it. And it was a great revision about the rows versus the columns and shifting them between each other. And I just love that, because there is always so much to learn, and great reminders in some of the things that you actually share are very, very hands-on and specific, as well as, you know, lessons to be learned and everything, and lessons that you're sharing. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks. And that's a wonderful segue into what the account's about. And I think the account really does tie to our topic of conversation today, which is abundance, because the purpose that I have is to help people grow personally, professionally, and financially. And so those are the topic areas that I write about. Often I'll use hooks that, you know, draw in the eyeball. Like today's hook says, if you want to be a multimillionaire, change how you think, do these things. In reality, all of those mindsets are just mindset shifts that make us a better person, personally, professionally, and financially. If they help you achieve financial wealth, that's great. But I'm really focused on helping people achieve holistic wealth. And I look at that as mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, and financial. For me, those are the 5 categories that I really want to help people grow with. So sometimes I trick them into reading the thread by writing the hook that really focuses on the financial. But once they get into the hook, you realize these are actually things that are going to help me in all 5 categories, not just the financial. A lot of people, though, do ask Indra, well, why do you write about Microsoft Excel? Are you chasing the virality over the value? Because Excel threads do really well, and one of my Excel threads, which is my pinned tweet, is done better than anything else I've written. And what I would say to that is, I use Excel almost every single day for the last 20 plus years. And I use it for everything. I use Excel for goal setting. I use Excel for my roadmap, for my 10-year plan. I use it for my personal budget, cash flow, net worth statement. I use it every single day, 5 days a week, excluding the weekends in my job. And I find it one of the best tools for so many different things. And so why do I write about it? Because I think that if you're using Excel and you're using it in your life and you're using it well, it will improve your personal finances. It will improve the amount of time you have. It will make your life easier. And that's what I want for people. So I'm not necessarily just doing it because Excel threads go viral. I actually want more and more people to use Microsoft Excel because I think it's the greatest program ever created. And that is what my account is about. Help you grow personally, professionally, and financially, and throw in some Microsoft Excel tips here and there to help people on that journey. Back to you, Indra.
That's amazing, Clint. And like I said, I was just sort of taken back at how wonderful that was and the tips that you were sharing in your account. And actually, I hadn't seen the Excel ones before, so I actually got really excited to read all of them. And of course, I've saved those as well because they really are truly going to be useful as a reminder in the future. So please share with us a little bit about your podcast, because I find that it's really extremely unique by nature, as you read the author's entire book before interviewing the author for an interview on your podcast. And this is a unique idea because I haven't heard, like, this is the actual focus of your podcast, and it truly is unique, and love to know what inspired this as well.
Yeah, so what it was inspired by was I was reading a book about learning. And one of the takeaways for me was that if I read the book, that's one thing. And we all know, we see the posts, and I truly believe them too, that if you read something but you don't act on it, did you really read it? And what we mean by that is action always beats simply the accumulation of knowledge. Accumulation of knowledge is great, but if you don't act on it, 1, you're probably going to forget it, and 2, there's less value to it. And so I thought to myself, well, I want to make sure that I remember what I'm reading. So how can I interact with the material more, Indra? So now what it looks like is I read the book. As I'm reading, I write out questions I want to ask the author. And so that's book club with the author. Then I have the conversation with them on my podcast. And then I write a thread based on that conversation and share it with the readers here on Twitter. And so by the time I've finished that thread, I've interacted with that material 4 times. And the key components of that material, I'll say, how do I incorporate this into my life? How do I take this material and act on it? What are the 1 or 2 or 3 things that I'm going to take from this book and bring into what I do on a daily basis? And not only that, those 2 or 3 things go into the memory bank. So when I'm having a conversation with you or we're talking today, I'm sure there will be things that I'll throw out that will be from those books I've read. Over the last year and a few months, we're probably at about 55 to 60 books on personal, professional, financial growth. And so when I talk about that or I write about that, And that's something that we all need to think about too when we're on a site like Twitter and we say, how do you come up with content? Well, the way we all come up with content is, one, it's our lived experience. Two, it's the content that we consume. So what are you consuming that you can then use to create? And for me, a lot of that has been the podcast, which is also why when I go through my next evolution, and yes, I'm borrowing that from Serena Williams, because my goal is to evolve over the next 3 to 5 years from working a day job to being a full-time entrepreneur or solopreneur. No, I won't even say solopreneur, because my wife is already retired and joined what I'll call the family business. Or sorry, she's doing that over the next 2 months, is to go to 2 episodes a week, which would mean reading 2 books a week, writing about 2 books a week. So that's just really consuming content, then using that content to create and to build a better toolkit so that I can have conversations with, coach people, consult with people, and combining all of that, Indra. The amazing takeaway that I've had, and I think you hit on it, is so many of the authors that I talk to seem to actually be surprised that I've read their book. And that personally blows me away, because that means that people are inviting them onto a podcast to talk about their book and haven't read their book. That just seems so alien to me. And maybe there's a level of me that finds it a little bit disrespectful to that author to say, hey, come on, let's talk about your book, but I won't read it. And so I've just, from the start, and for a couple of them, I've been running out of time. I had a conversation earlier this week, and I probably skimmed a little more than I normally would, Indra, but I made sure that the areas that I wanted to ask questions about, because I knew I only had 1 hour, so probably a maximum of a dozen questions, that I went deep into the book on those 12 questions I was going to ask.
I love that you really do read. I mean, you're making sure that you're absorbing everything in the process and writing out the questions as you go, and then repurposing that in your actual podcast, and then writing a thread. I mean, that is that sounds like just an amazing recipe for repurposing, Clint. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, and then the next step, as my wife retires, will be her taking my threads, turn them into Medium articles, turn them into blog posts. Eventually they become LinkedIn articles, and then we're also repurposing that content to, or I am right now repurposing it to Instagram, where we've started to grow decently. We crossed 3,000 followers last night, and we just started about 3 weeks ago, seriously. And we will also take it to TikTok. So once you start creating content and consuming the right content to create, and this goes to the abundant mindset, right? Is there so much room for growth and opportunity if we take the bet on ourselves, and we take the bet that the universe will receive what we put out into it. We will get back more than we ever expect. And often, I think the way you approach it, Indra, the way I approach it, is we put it out there, we do the work, and we trust that the universe will take care of us if we follow the process. And we don't worry about the results. We worry about what we can control. I can show up and read and write every day and engage with my friends and engage with my circle, and the rest will have to take care of itself, and I'll trust that. I will measure it. I will look at analytics, but I'll trust the process.
Yes, that's truly the essence of abundance mindset right there, that we don't worry about all the things that are just so out of our control, because that's just so overwhelming, Clint. You know, if we had to think about and list out all the things that we can't control about as we go along the path, each time we create something, that's just too much. So there is that element of I would say the word I was looking for was empowerment. As you trust the process, as you do the work, and you just put it out there. And that's amazing to see that the progress that happens. And I'm sure you've experienced that. Because our topic is abundance mindset today, I know we'd all love to know, how do you truly define abundance mindset, Clint?
For me, where I focus on abundance is, and I write about it in my post above, I think a lot of people who have I contrast it with a scarcity mindset. People who have a scarcity mindset tend to give less. They tend to put themselves out there less. They tend to not openly trust. So you have to earn their trust. And they think the pie is limited. So if I own a company, I can't sell you a piece of it because then you have a share of my earnings, and that means less for me. And so everything's about a fixed amount that's available, and I have to have my piece of it, and I can't let you have a piece of it. And so I tend to give less, and if I give, I expect to get something, or I don't give unless I get. So I look at that as scarcity. And to me, it's a really sad and depressing way to live. It's a way where someone thinks consultants are out to screw me. Everyone's out to get me, and I've always got to be on the lookout for the scam or for how they're going to steal from me. I would rather approach life from this perspective. I openly trust people. Sure, I'll get burned once in a while, but it's a pretty comfortable way to live life, and there's no limit on the upside to living that way. 2, give with no expectation of getting, because that will take care of itself. So when you look at a fixed mindset, look at something like Twitter. When you look at a fixed mindset, if you go to a profile page and someone never shares their friends' comments, their entire profile page is only their stuff because they've been told it has to be pristine, don't share other people. Sure, maybe that works. Or you look at someone who shares a lot of their friends and their friends share them, because that's the abundance. You share, and people share back. You, instead of thinking there's a fixed amount of pie, you think, well, why don't we both grow a bigger pie, and that way we can all eat. So I'll invite you to the table, because if there's more of us at the table, we'll cook a bigger meal. We'll have a potluck. No one's going home hungry. Those are some of the general concepts I think of when I think of abundance. And so it's really about, how do we win as a collective instead of how do I win as an individual? Because if I have a circle of friends and a circle of people I associate with, and let's take Twitter as a perfect example. If there's 10 of us and I only focus on my account, I will grow a certain amount. But if I focus on sharing the other 9 people, and they see that I'm sharing them consistently and they share me, all 10 of us are going to grow. And when any one of us grows and we're sharing people still, then we're all winning, because now we're all in front of a bigger audience. And so that's the abundance. Let's all grow together by working together, by being a team, by recognizing that there's more than enough in this world for all of us to win, to succeed. And that's one key point right there. Nobody has to lose for you to win. That's a long answer. Hopefully that we can dig into some of that.
Yes, there was so much in that, Clint. I want to circle back a little bit and jump into some of those examples. That was an incredible example of also working within a team, getting those people that are of like minds, and they're thinking the same way as you. They're in an abundant mindset, and that is truly exciting to build and to share. That's something that I have noticed with you. And actually, when we met many moons ago in a Twitter space, I still am in touch with a lot of those people. And in fact, even Sana was my guest on Monday night evening in the Vibe Tribe here. So a lot of those people I'm still connected with, and they're mutually supportive. So they have that mindset of, oh, yes, I'd love to help you. Oh, you're helping me. Oh, you're sharing this. Oh, you're promoting this. Oh, what can I promote for you? It's just a very mutual and easy flow of energy. And that's, I almost have to say, emphasize easy, because the flow and the mindset is the opposite of scarcity. When there is a scarcity mindset, it just doesn't flow as easily. So I love that concept, and I think you are just a great example of that abundance mindset. What were you mentioned about social media examples and everything else? What are some other real life home examples, or with friends external to social media, that you could give us on these differences in mindset that you've experienced?
Yeah, and it's super important. And we had this conversation the other night. We were talking about friendship circles, and I'm on vacation. We're up at our cottage, and my best friend has a cottage like 5 doors down. We became friends when we started at work together 23 years ago, and have been super tight for 23 years. Why have we been super tight for 23 years? Because we treat each other with an abundant mindset. We treat our friendship abundantly. If he needs help, I'm there to help him. If I need help, he's there to help me. Some people have called this your darkest hour friends, right, Indra? When you're in that dark hour, when something's going wrong in your life, who do you talk to? Who do you reach out to? He's that friend for me. I'm that friend for him. There's 1 or 2 friends in that friendship circle who are also like that for the 2 of us. And the 4 of us started 23 years ago together, and we're super tight. We've gone different directions with our careers, still super tight. And there were other people that were in that circle 23 years ago, Indra, but they didn't have an abundant mindset. They had a scarcity mindset. And where you could see that is they would always be willing to take from the friendship circle, but very rarely would they give to the friendship circle. And slowly over time, they fade away and they don't remain. And you don't remain because, and here's the key for me: have an abundant mindset and pair it with healthy boundaries. Give, give, give. And if over a long enough period of time, that friend never shows up for you, at some point, you activate the boundary side and say, that's not a healthy friendship. I want to be in a circle with people where when I treat that circle with abundance, that it's reciprocated. And I'm not talking, I want to be very careful with that, right? We're not talking about I give something, I get something. We're talking about in the fullness of time. Because it could be I give, give, give. And then we have a period where I get. Because that's what a friendship is. Because sometimes your friends are in a dark spot and you're giving more and you're helping more. And that's fine. But in the fullness of time, you're all pulling together. And that's what I've seen with my closest friends. And I even see it in social media, Indra, where the danger when you have people in your circle in real life or in online or in a business who have that scarcity mindset is often, I find, that can taint the people in your circle who have an abundant mindset, because they look at that person who's behaving scarcely, and they see that everyone else in the circle is still treating that person with abundance. And then they start to say, well, why am I putting in so much effort for everything when Teddy or Tina or Melissa over there aren't putting in the effort and they're getting the same outcome as me? Maybe I'll put in less effort and I'll get that outcome. And so that's the situation where you have to activate the boundaries, and you have the hard conversation with people to say, hey, you're not really being a part of this circle. You're not really showing up for the rest of us. Is that something you want to do? And if not, maybe we have to reevaluate. And so we probably haven't been good enough about having those hard conversations because we were young as we came up together. But I would say the people that didn't show up on a recurring basis just slowly evolved out of that friendship circle, Indra. And the people that shared and helped and moved each other forward, we've stayed close for 20 plus years. And I'm blown away by what they're achieving in their careers, where they're at in life. And I'm in a pretty good spot, and I still look at them and I'm in sometimes awe of what they've achieved. So you do that because you work together, because you have that mindset, and it takes you far personally, professionally, and financially in all three categories. Does that make some sense to you?
Sorry, Clint. I was distracted in the chat because everybody is going crazy in the chat over this topic and everything that you're sharing. Everybody's loving that. I found a lot of value in the example that you gave in real life settings, and I think we've all done that. We've all looked around and thought, wow, these people that are here with me are the ones that A, they're open with their mindset of abundance, and B, we're all thriving together because of that. It's like this circle, like you described it. So I really love that, and I just want to extend that my observation, Clint, doesn't just. I mean, the observation that I see in your generous spirit on Twitter. Everything that you put into your account, all the tweets and the content that you share, it really is incredible. The level that you go to help and to nurture others. So that is incredible. And then, even, when you have the time and you're in spaces and things, it really is a huge investment of your time, and we always receive so much value. So I just want to say you are just like abundant with the giving, and it's very noticeable.
Indra.
So, yes, jump in. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, hang on one second. Hang on.
What are you up to, Rev?
That is Indra's birthday. Come on now, everybody, throw some hearts. Let's celebrate this marvelous person, this marvelous community. My God, finally, you're 21, you can drink. Hallelujah. It is just fabulous to be here on your birthday, and as one of your BFFs. And I know you got a multitude of them, but we all do. Right, Ron? But the birthday is a big deal. So happy birthday celebration to your mom, because why do we get any credit for our birthday? That's kind of crazy, but we're going to give you some too. But big shout out to your mom and your dad, but especially your mom. She did all the work. And very, very happy birthday to you. And I am so excited. Everybody needs to stand up, do the hokey pokey, shake it all out. We've been here for about 42 minutes, and I wanted to just give a quick shout out to my good friend down there, and I love all of you, but to Asia Hussein, because I did post up in the nest. Indra is a part of this fabulous group what are we called? The conversationalists. And we're on Saturdays on Twitter. And because of Jason Zakowski, we're quadcasting everywhere. I think we're heard in Canada, which is a shocker. I mean, do they speak English there? And so we are so very well, sorry, but we are so very stoked to just have a celebration of Indra today. Thank you, Indra, for bringing us all together. Clint, as always, it is just so awesome, so wonderful to hear your journey. Every time you talk, you share with us, your journey from your perspective. And I think that's what, people really need to learn. We don't put this out on you should do this. This is what I have experienced, and this is how I have been made more powerful. And these are ways that you might be able to do it yourself. So it's just lovely having you here as well.
Thank you so much, Rev. Appreciate you and your friendship, and yes, being part of this incredible PVT community and tribe. Very, very blessed. So, Ron, I know that you probably have a burning question for Clint. Jump in.
Yes, I do. Clint, good afternoon. I was wondering, what was your main takeaway from Indra's YouTube video on the abundance mindset?
Yeah, I think Indra and I aligned a lot on the abundant mindset. And Indra, I was surprised to learn that Stephen Covey somewhat came up with that terminology for it in 1989 in 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, which is one of my top recommendations for everybody for books that you should read. And aligned with you that abundant mindset is central to our spiritual and personal growth. But I would even take that further. It's central to our financial growth. It's central to our emotional growth. It's central to living our best life. And what you talked about were some of the ways that we can build it. We can dive into those. You talked about, hey, let's look for silver lining. Let's believe in endless possibilities. The whole concept that everything that happens for the best possible reason. We just may not know what that is. And when we realize that this is what, it's funny because every time you and I talk, we realize that all the other talks we've had tie to the talk we're having now, because the idea that what we think becomes reality. So our thoughts become things. And if those thoughts are abundant, then our life can be abundant because we don't, now I'm very careful to say, I don't necessarily believe in the law of attraction. I do believe in the law of action. And I believe that if our thoughts are abundant and we act in an abundant way, that we will attract abundance. Sure, but I'm going to tie that to the law of action and the law of positive thought more than I am the law of attraction. Because people that are listening to us have this conversation, I do not want you to think that you can go away and just think positively and everything good will happen. You also have to act on those positive thoughts. So make sure that you don't forget that part of the equation. A lot of people have the thoughts and then say, hey, I had the thoughts and nothing happened. Well, you have to combine the actions with the thoughts. So you talked, and the actions are some of the things that you're talking about. It's not only believing and thinking this way, but then taking the steps daily to actually action on it. And then the last one you talked about was positive affirmations and including gratitude as a daily practice, because when we're more grateful, we're more likely to be abundant. So Ron, those were my takeaways. I was much more detailed in my note taking on this round than the last 2 rounds we've done together. And some of the benefits you talked about, I've talked about some, but we're inspired to create positive outcomes for us and others. And I think we didn't talk about that earlier, but when you have an abundant mindset, you're just gosh darn happy to see everybody around you win, right? You see a friend write a viral thread or tweet, and you don't think to yourself, oh, I wish I'd written that. You think, good on you, Indra. That was really good writing. You deserve it. I'm proud of you. Happy for you, right? You congratulate your friends. You're not jealous. You're not envious. I think jealousy and envy are the opposite, or they're the danger of the other side of abundance, they're very scarce mindset. When you see your friend succeed and have an investment pay off, or their business is booming, or they have a really successful book launch, and you can't help but feel jealous. Well, that's a fixed mindset. Or a scarce mindset. You want to have that mindset that says, I'm really proud of my friend. I take joy in my friends succeeding, and I want to pump them up and support them, because I know them succeeding doesn't mean I can't succeed too. So that's one of the benefits, is it creates that type of mindset. And then you also, you believe in your potential. It starts to remove limits. I no longer think that there's an upside to my future. I know that my future is unlimited. And even what I think of my future, I'm thinking too small, which is scary because I have pretty lofty goals. And I know those goals are too small, because I will get there. The fact that I put it on a piece of paper and said, here's a plan to do it, now all I have to do is that plan. That probably means I was thinking too small. How can I 10x that? Because if I have an abundant mindset and I surround myself with people who have an abundant mindset, there's no limit to what we can achieve when we take those actions to achieve that path. Those were my biggest takeaways, Ron. Back to you.
Thank you, Clint.
Thanks so much, Clint. And I want to start inviting people up for questions on this topic of abundance mindset with our special guest, Clint, today. So don't be shy. Come on up. And if you haven't spoken in the space before, do come up. We love to hear new voices in this community. After all, it is about abundance today. So we have an abundant heart and an abundant mindset. So we love to invite you guys up here for today. Adam, did you have any thoughts on abundance mindset? Adam runs a fantastic community for mental health. So do follow Adam and do connect with his community, because he has wonderful resources. Adam, did you have a question for Clint today on abundance mindset? Okay, we'll come back to Adam a little bit later. But everybody else, the floor is open to come on up. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who is in the chat fest. I'm going to have to circle back after this space and catch up with all of the beautiful comments in there. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Thank you for all the wonderful shares about our incredible guest today. Thank you so much for being part of this incredible space, everybody here. We have somebody that's trying to request to come up. Adam, if you're available, chime in. Okay, I think our next guest is having a few technical difficulties. Rev, did you have any thoughts that you wanted to jump in and add about this abundance mindset? Ahmed, did you want to add?
I think, Indra, can you hear me? There we go.
Yes.
I have like 3 things to unmute these days. So, and then I have to remember to talk. But I think for me, one of the things about the abundance mindset that is so powerful is I know that my parents instilled on me this mindset of abundance, especially my father. I mean, my dad, is a published author was, and he's no longer with us, but my dad is a published author in this field a little bit. So he really instilled that mindset into our family. And so even in the darkest times, that abundance mindset, it doesn't leave me. I continue to have to make sure that it doesn't leave me. But my base, my root is abundance. And I think that's also something that is, an idea that, is a little bit available to us in the West, in the first world, that, if you've got, a family who has the ability to kind of move through the world in a way that not everybody can, I think that comes from generations of abundance mindsets. Sometimes people continuing to pass that along to your children, make that abundance mindset something that is, valuable to everyone, and then keep training the brain and hacking the brain to stay on course, because the brain ain't that hard to hack. In fact, good God, it is easy to hack. If you're feeling down, just freaking smile for 2 minutes and it will lift you up.
That's a great share, Rev, and a wonderful reminder on so many levels about things that your parents have shared with you and given you that incredible gift of abundance mindset, as you said, needed in the darkest hours. I think that is the valuable piece here to remember. And you just reminded me of my parents and their generous spirit. And that really, I'm just so thankful for that generous spirit that I hope that I carry into this community and with everybody I connect with. So let's go to our next speaker. Actually, Ahmed, are you available to speak? Ahmed? Okay, I think Ahmed is having technical. Okay, he's gone. All right. So let's go to our next speaker. Adam, are you available? Okay. Let's go to Carl. Welcome, Carl, to the Positivity Vibe Tribe. Did you have a question for Clint today on abundance mindset?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me up, Indra. I heard from a bird that it was your birthday, so I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. It is my first time being up here, especially on a panel with so many great, amazing people. And I just wanted to ask Clint what he thought about this idea because my mind has usually been thinking about abundance as like, oh, things that I'm receiving, like, oxygen, the sun, there's the primal forms of that, but in other terms as well as like money and receiving love. But Clint, what do you think about the abundance of things that are available for us to give, like my voice? We all have an infinite number of words we could say, our infinite creativity to think whatever we can conjure up, our ability to give our effort. What do you think of those innate levels of abundance that we give, not just receive?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's even what Indra is talking about, right? Is when she says, for me personally, what can I give in abundance, Carl? I can give my writing. I can jump into spaces. I can reach out. And this is where learning different paths to share our abundance becomes so powerful. I had a goal of helping 1 million people grow personally, professionally, financially. And I thought that was huge. And I thought that was huge, Carl, because I was helping people at work, right? People that are on my team. I could go for walks and talks, and I could talk to them about life and about their career and help them grow. And I'm like, oh, I'm reaching 4 to 5 people at a time. And when I go through my evolution down the road and I'm working for myself, I can reach another couple people a week. And what I didn't realize was I could have a podcast, I could have a Twitter account, I could jump into spaces, right? Well, we have 65 people in here right now. Let's everyone share this space, and let's get over 100, let's get 200, and let's have more people in to ask questions like you are, Carl, so we can have a conversation. We can all learn and grow together. And where I'm going with that is I didn't realize how many more avenues there are that let you share your voice and share your thoughts and your writing and your value to the world in ways that scale. Me having walk-in talks with people at work or in my life doesn't scale. It may scale to 1 million people, but now I can set that goal at 1 billion because I can have a podcast. I can be here. I can be on Twitter. I can be on Medium, be on Instagram, and I can reach more people. And the more people we reach, the more we have that abundant mindset and we put ourselves out there and share with the world, the more we can reach. So I think that incorporates what you were asking. If not, maybe clarify, fire something at me.
Yes, I absolutely loved your input on that. The thing that my favorite part of that was that preliminary statement that set the tone for the rest of what you had to say regarding find all the different ways you can give. And I think if we look closely, that there's not one person that can reach all people. Each one of our voices needs to be shared to help each other out, to portray this information in a way that it reaches more people. And I'm just really grateful that for Indra and Revolution putting together this panel. And Clint, thank you for being here and sharing such vital information on such a crucial, pivotal topic. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Carl. Wonderful question indeed. Okay, so welcome to Roma. Welcome to the Positivity Vibe Tribe space. And do you have a question for our guest, Clint?
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's nice to be back after many months. I've been coming on and off. And happy birthday, Indra. Can
Thank
you
you
hear
so
me?
much. Yes, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to the abundance mindset is that most often where we live, the kind of people we are meeting, uh, we need to meet those people who are always vibing at a certain level and we are always learning from them. See, when we learn, our perception changes, and the very pivotal point of our mindset becomes bigger and humongous, so we can go beyond where we are trying to understand things. So that gives us a lot of space to grow and understand and sometimes not apply logic to it and realize that we're just a little dot in this whole cosmos and we have such a beautiful time, beautiful earth to live in, and we can just simply connect to so many people. On a personal note, I write a lot of poetry, and there was a certain period time I was only writing morose poetry. I was like, what's wrong with me? So I realized that uh, being in that state was very complacent. It made me feel good, but I didn't realize that I was adding a lot of sadness to other people's life. And here I wanted to make other people smile. So then I changed my perception and I started working onto it. It took me time, and then I realized you can use definite words and create infinite combinations. So when somebody reads something, what I have written, at least they get a smile or they say, okay, this is interesting. We want to know more how this goes. So abundance is huge and we live in an abundant earth. So I hope I'm able to convey what I'm trying to say. That's all
Thank
from
you,
my side.
Roma. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Clint, did you have any thoughts on Roma's share?
I'll just jump on that first part, and I think that's what we were talking about earlier, is making sure that we find people that we vibe with, that are on the same wavelength. And maybe you can convert people who have a scarcity mindset to your abundance if they're surrounded by enough of you, but more likely than not, seek out those people who are already abundant in their life and be abundant with them. So find those people who are on the same vibe, learn and grow together. And that's one of the fabulous things, Roma, about people that have that same vibe as you and who have that same abundance is I find people who have an abundant mindset tend to also have a growth mindset. And so you not only do you vibe together, but you grow together, and that starts to feed off of each other. And so everybody becomes a winner in that circle. That was my takeaway, Indra.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Clint. So I want to honor your time because I realize you have other commitments as well, Clint. Just let me know how much time you have for this space.
Yeah, I'm probably good for another 30, 45 minutes if that works on your end. I know it's your birthday, so.
Thank you. That's a beautiful gift because I have lots more questions for you.
All right, perfect.
I have more questions, and then, of course, if anybody would like to come up and share some thoughts on abundance mindset, if you have any questions, of course, for Clint, we'd love to hear those as well. And also, it was wonderful to have Carl as a first-time speaker in the Positivity Vibe Tribe. We really love to encourage first-time speakers here because you have a voice, and this is abundance mindset in the Positivity Vibe Tribe. So everything is abundant and everything is valuable here. So let's go, people. And you guys, oh my gosh, I'm just sending you so much love, light, and blessings. Thank you for lighting up the chat. Look, I'm like a little kid with candy because this new feature is so beautiful. And one of my favorite things is I do have a quick look as we're going through the space. And I know that Ron and Rev have a look, and if there's anything, as in a question, they will bring that up for sure. And Ron, do another double check because I may not have got to the bottom. But I really appreciate you guys having so much fun in the chat. And of course, the value of this new chat feature is that we get to have this forever. So absolutely love it. So let's go to our next speaker. I am you, them. Welcome to the Positivity Vibe Tribe space. And do you have a question for Clint?
Hello, lovelies. I was just resting in here. My name is Livy, and I never been to this space before, but I love positivity. And I just wanted to, I don't really have a question, but I have been listening in here. Sorry if it's noisy, I'm in the car. And I just wanted to add something regarding the abundance and abundance mindset. I wasn't born into an abundant family, so I had to learn it myself. And I'm also a certified energy healer, so being positive and having a positive mindset, sharing love is really, really something that is like a matter of the heart for me. And in terms of abundance, I would just love to add this, like, what you can share is not only like, because people often talk about money, but what I've learned also to share your knowledge and your time, whatever it looks like, is so, so valuable as well. And I think it's so important, like, we help each other, raising awareness, grow. And me personally, I believe a lot more in being like an inspirational than trying to convince people, because when vibing in the same space, you kind of find each other anyway, right? So, and happy birthday to you. I understand it's your birthday. So, and thank you for having me here. It was very nice meeting you all in this space. Much love and light.
Thanks so much, Livy, for dropping in, and appreciate the birthday wishes. Clint, did you want to respond on anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to head over quickly. I see your hand up, Carl. Adam, did you have a question for Clint today on abundance mindset? Okay, let's go to Carl.
Hey, Indra, just wanted to sneak in one more question for Clint. I couldn't resist based off of this short, the topic we were discussing on we not just receiving abundance, but the abundance that we have to give. And my question for you, Clint, is what would you say maybe the first course of action for someone that's dealing with maybe a piece of doubt saying that they don't have something to share, or that they don't have a place in terms of expressing the things they have to give, and they're sort of dealing with doubt in that way. Have you ever had to deal with that, or have you ever had someone approach you with that?
Oh, it's easier. I deal with that on a daily basis. I mean, we're talking imposter syndrome, right? I often think that I have nothing to share in writing. I think that I have nothing to share verbally, that I'm not a good host on the podcast, that I'm a poor public speaker. Everything you're saying, Carl. And then I do it. And so let's take a step back, right? What often separates success from failure, or not even failure, success from not even trying, because both that successful person and that person who doesn't try or fails, both of them have imposter syndrome. The difference is one of them keeps going. And so for people who tell me they have nothing to share, 2 years ago, I thought I had nothing to share. Now I have a moderately successful podcast, and I have a strong following and growth on Twitter. And what I'm learning, and I'm even talking to someone online right now, and we're talking about creating a group of accounts where we help each other grow and become larger. And I threw out some names at him, and he said, I think we can aim higher than that. And I realized what I tend to do is I tend to focus on accounts that are much smaller than me, because I don't believe in myself, Carl. I don't believe in my fault, right? I don't believe that I can reach out to that account that's larger than me and say, hey, you're larger than me, but you're not really moving, and I can help you move because I do have a following that's engaged and I am growing. And so I sometimes let my imposter syndrome get in the way. And so those people who think they have nothing to share, that's almost impossible. If you're alive on this earth, if you've lived life, you have something to share. Now, where people get caught up is they don't think they're far enough ahead on the ladder. Let's think about the alphabet as the ladder. You have from A to Z. All you need to do is be 1 or 2 steps ahead of someone else, and you have something to share. So the easiest way to start sharing, Carl, is look at where you were a year ago. Look at where you were 5 years ago and write for that person. Talk for that person. What would Carl 5 years ago want to know to be a better Carl today? What would Carl a year ago want to know to be a better Carl today? Write for that person. And then let's say that, so if you're doing that, you're on step E, you're writing for the person on step D and the person on step A. Now your job is to make sure that you get to step F, G, and H. You put in the work to grow you. Because as long as you can stay ahead of that person on step E, or sorry, they go from D to E, as long as you got to F, you can still write for them. You can still help them grow. If you get all the way to H, those people that stalled on F and G, you can write for them now. And so don't worry about looking at someone like Indra or Rev or Ron or me and say, well, you guys have something to share. You're all the way on step W or X or Y or Z. Don't worry about us. Worry about where you are on the ladder, and recognize that there's always someone behind you on the ladder who can grow and improve because they have you to teach them. And then you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to go up the ladder. And that way you're always going to have someone behind you who can learn from you. That's my feedback to people who think they have nothing to share. You have something to share. You just haven't thought about what it is.
Oh, that was amazing, Clint. Because I think you nailed it on so many levels. And thank you, Carl, for that question. Very, very valuable. I think sometimes we're looking at other people and seeing their success and seeing their growth, and not realizing that they're humans too, that we're all humans, that we all have these moments of doubts in our minds. We have those thoughts that just, they originate because our minds are always on that fight or flight, defense system, like trying to keep us safe. So again, if there could be a perceived threat, that's going to happen. Clint, I see your hand up. Jump in.
Yeah, you really piqued something in me, Indra, because even last night I was at dinner with my best friend, our wives, just the four of us. Kids were at home hanging out together. And at one point in the dinner, I said, isn't it insane where we're both at in life? When we became friends 23 years ago, do you think that if either of us said where we both are in life right now and where we'll be over the next 8 years, because I have an idea of where he's going, I have an idea of where I'm going, he has an idea of where he's going, where I'm going. If we told each other that we'd be there, do you think either of us would have believed it? Now, he said he said, well, I would have believed I'm still here, but I don't think either of us would have believed we'd be where we are in life or where we're going to be. And so one of the reasons is we never took that 30-year view of where we could get to, right, Indra? And what we did do was we did the most we could always do in the moment that we were in. We both worked harder than the average person. We consumed more content. He described it as becoming an expert generalist. So we're not just consuming content one down avenue. Sports, finance, mental, spiritual, emotional, coaching, leadership, science, crypto. We try to consume as much as we can so that we can talk to anyone about almost anything. Now, we might not be experts on any of that, Carl, but we're steps ahead on the ladder than the average person. And so we can talk to them, we can teach, right? And so that helps you succeed in your career, succeed in life, succeed in writing, succeed in talking in spaces, because you have a lived experience that others don't. You just have to believe in your lived experience and be willing to share it. Long answer again, Indra, back to you.
Oh, that was so welcome, and that connected perfectly to what where I was going with that. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much, Clint, because I think we underestimate ourselves on so many levels, and our capacity to succeed, our capacity to thrive. Because I'm just gonna add one more thing here, Clint, and you might go crazy on this next piece. You probably will. You'll have some thoughts, but we're not just here in seeking abundance. We are here to thrive in life. Thriving is truly that level of having that abundance mindset, still having those thoughts, wrestling with yourself, but taking that action, that valuable action, in order to thrive, in order to feel like you are thriving in life and enjoying your life, not just going through the motions and being caught up in the actions. Because of course, with everything, even with the law of attraction, if you don't take those actions, as Clint had mentioned earlier, we're not going to move forward. We're not going to propel ourselves forward. So there is this balance. But in abundance mindset, we want to feel like we're thriving, not that we don't have this or we don't have that, or we could have been better, or this could have been done better, or I want to be here, but I'm here. It's about being grateful, remembering the gratitude, but also dreaming big. So I almost feel it's like a balancing act, Clint.
Oh, 100%. It's almost hard to put into words. I always want more, and I'm happy with what I have. If that makes sense, Indra, right? Because that seeking that, I'm not envious of more. I'm not prideful or gluttonous that I need material objects or material things. And I know that's not what's going to make me happy. And I know what will make me happy. And at the same time, I will always push myself to be better. And a byproduct of that is financial wealth. A byproduct of that is living a life that I never anticipated or expected I would have. And when my mom and dad were able to join us at our cottage for a few days last week with my sister and my brother-in-law and their kids. Yeah, unfortunately, she wasn't feeling well and had to leave early. That was rough when we start to see our parents in that stage of life where we start to worry about their health and where things are going. And the positive side of that, though, the abundant side of that, is sitting on my deck with my mom and looking at the lake and how close we are to the water and saying to her, I never thought at any point in my life that I would have this, that we would be here. And seeing, her smile and hug me and say, like, you've worked hard for this, you deserve it. In that, you don't just put yourself out there with the goal of getting that. You put yourself out there, I think, because it's the right thing to do, because it makes the world a better place. And when you do that enough, consistently, and you get lucky, and you have opportunities that not everyone has, it's not any one thing. All those things have to happen, right? And we talk about this, my wife and I, is yes, I may have grown up without money, but I am a white guy. I was born in Canada. I was born in a generation where by the time I started my career, you could buy housing at a reasonable price, right? So there are all those things that are opportunities, and I can't discount those on the road. I have to recognize that those opportunities were there for me that might not have been there for others. And then on top of that, doing this, and this, and living abundantly through all of that led to results that are a big reason you do it. And the future will be even better than the present. So 100% aligned with you. You're not living an abundant mindset to live a life of scarcity. You are living an abundant mindset because you believe that done right, with the right effort, the right work, that you will have a lifestyle that is absolutely full of abundance. It's full of abundant people. It's financially abundant. It's mentally, spiritually, emotionally abundant. And that's why you live that way, because you believe that the universe will provide that. Is that reasonably in line with where you were going with that one, Indra?
Spot on. You nailed it. Mic drop. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely loved it. You really summed that up perfectly. Thank you, Clint. I want to jump over to Ron to announce our person to highlight here in the space today who has tweeted out the space. Ron, are you ready?
I am ready, Indra. Today we are highlighting Miss Starling Scott. I don't want to say her first name just in case I were to mispronounce it and she doesn't have a mic to correct me. But Miss Scott is a healthy food loving mother, living love, laughter, and having lots of fun is my mission in this life. Enjoying God's blessings, me too. And that's embodying the abundance mindset. From law, medical to tech, 100%. So thank you, Miss Scott, for tweeting this space out. We appreciate you in the community. We appreciate you in our spaces. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tweeting out the space for us. We really appreciate you and love to have you in the space. And I think this might be one of the first times we've seen you in the space. So warm welcome. And a warm welcome to everybody in the space that's joined us. Thank you so much for sharing out this space, and thank you all for being here for this conversation. I want to be respectful to our guest and his time, so we do have some speakers. Please keep your questions succinct, and so we can move through and get to everybody that wants to contribute. So we're going to go to Dizzy first.
Really made
Welcome,
my
Dizzy.
day. This really made.
Hi there. Hi, thanks so much. It's such an honor to be among such legends. Thanks for hosting the space. So my question may have been partially answered, but basically, I used to be this amazing go-getter person where my life was super on track. I was, in my early 30s, married, saving up a down payment, all the great things. I was in the middle of a career change, and things were going well. And then I experienced a breakup, a divorce, and then being on my own after 10 years, struggled quite a bit. Got my career change going, and I even though I was able to get that great like 6-figure job and everything, I find myself today in a bit of a funk where I lack confidence. I'm sorry, I think there's a speaker who needs to mute. I think it's Carl. Can you mute? I'm sorry. But basically, I'm just experiencing some inertia I feel in life, and seem to be in a funk of like mediocrity, and want to break out of that, and just get my energy and motivation back. Now I'm reading things like that book, Confident Mind, and I'm trying different things. I'm trying exercise, but yeah, just again, this type of inertia, it's like kind of bleeding into other areas of my life. There's some work procrastination happening, which is crazy because this is a job I always wanted. I never thought I would make this much money. And, I'm afraid of getting myself into trouble. And then as far as fitness goes, that's been slipping too. COVID also kind of added to the inertia, and find myself going out a bit less because of a little bit, lack of confidence, and I had quite a bit of weight gain too. And I'm stuck a little bit in looping thoughts about, hey, I need to fix all this, but there's not so much action. I'm very self-aware on what needs to change. It's just this internal thing is broken where I'm actually going and doing the thing and fixing it. And so I just love some advice there. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that one, Indra. If it's okay, I'll dive right into it.
Absolutely.
There were a number of things that you said in there that I really want to zone in on with you, right? Is the first one was, I was on track. So where I want to challenge you is, what is on track? Who is on track? What is the track? The number one thing we always want all of us to focus on, or I always want all of us to focus on, is you define success. I don't define success for you. I don't define success for any of you. None of you define success for me. The only person who defines success for me is me. And so the track, whatever the track is my track. I run my track, you run your track. We determine where that track's going, and we go on the track. So just make sure that you're not defining it in a certain way. And a couple other things I heard were, I never thought I'd make this much money, my career. And then I worry that maybe you're defining yourself by the money you're making, and you're defining yourself by financial metrics. And I never thought I'd make as much money in this job that I do. And I know there's a high likelihood that when I take my next step and I leave this job, there's a high likelihood that I never make as much money again as I do. And some people would say, who know how much I make, you're crazy to leave that job. What are you thinking? But Dizzy, that job is not my track. That money does not define my success. What defines success for me is waking up every day, doing what I want to do, where I want to do it, when I want to do it, if I even want to do it, and doing it how I want to do it. And living, once the kids are out of school, living wherever in the world I want to with my wife and being able to work from there. And I'm willing to give up boatloads of money to do that. And so knowing what you want and what truly drives you and what true success is for you holistically, not just financially. So what ticks your mental box, your emotional box, your spiritual box, your physical box, your financial box. So that's one thing, right? So now those are two things for you to think about. A third one for you to think about is really be a combination of gracious with yourself, because the last 2.5 years have been so hard on all of us, right? 2020, so many of us were like, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to learn new languages. I'm going to launch a podcast. I'm going to become a Twitter star. Whatever it was, we all went all in. And some people kept going. And then 2021 hit. And some people were able to keep going. And some of us were more in the school of, holy crap, this is still going. I'm going to drink more. I'm going to eat more. I'm going to live my worst life. Like it felt like 2021 for a lot of us was the exact opposite of what 2020 was. And you're recognizing that. I recognize how much weight I put on and how physically I'm not in the shape I was in 2020, because 2021 I went in the opposite direction. And so being gracious that we all just lived through something that very few people have ever lived through. And there were downsides to it. And if we see it, we can fix it. So don't be too hard on yourself on that. You also, it sounded like, while you were going through that, also went through a divorce and a career change. I mean, COVID itself was a life event. Add in the other two things that you just said. Those are 3 huge life events altogether. Definitely be gracious with yourself. And now that you know all that, you know the path out, right? I know my path out for hey, I gained weight. All right, well, how do I fix it? I exercise more and I eat less. I mean, yeah, we can get a little more detailed on those two things. And it really is that simple. We often tend to overcomplicate it, right? I know I have to improve my eating and I have to get outside more. I have to exercise more. I have to lift more weights. I have to go for more walks with my dogs. Eventually, when I get in certain shape, maybe I'll run with her, but I'll start by walking. So there's that. And then the other thing, the last thing I'd focus in with you on is you're reading these books and you're looking for that. You said you were looking for that motivation or that inspiration. Forget that. Never look for motivation or inspiration. Just look for discipline, right? You know what it takes to succeed. You've already succeeded. You know what it takes to win. You've already won in life. We all know what it takes to get in physical shape. So don't look for the inspiration. Just look for the discipline and do it. And so when people ask me, well, how did you do this with your podcast? How did you do this with Twitter? How do you do this? We don't talk about it much, but it reminded me because my sister, for anyone who's an author, once you've done your book, you have to send out what are called query letters. And I'm writing a fantasy novel series with my sister. And I was reminded of that because in my email box while we're talking, I saw 4 query letters from her get sent out to agents so that we can find an agent for book 1. And, well, how do we do all that? Well, we just do it, right? You wake up and you say, today I have to write a thread. Today I have to read a book. Today I have to have a podcast conversation. Today I have to go for a walk. I have to not eat breakfast, not eat lunch because it's a fasting day, right? Like, what are the things that I have to do? And then just do them. There's no inspiration. There's no motivation. The inspiration and the motivation are the person that I know I will become. The inspiration and the motivation are the goals that I know I will achieve. They're intrinsic to me. No one on this earth can motivate me or inspire me. I mean, sure, I watch a Jocko Willink video or a David Goggins running on Instagram and he chatting while he runs, and I'm like, how the heck can he run that fast and have a full conversation that sounds like he's in a spaces with me because he's doing an Instagram live? Like, how does that guy do that? Yeah, those are inspirational, but that inspiration dies the moment that video shuts off, unless you turn it into action, unless you do the work. So don't look for inspiration. Don't look for motivation. Do the work on a daily basis, knowing who you will be a year from now or 2 years from now. Show up, do it, you'll get there. And then you will be the inspiration for other people. So that was, I think, 5 things I took out of what you said, and how I'd love to see you approach it. And you've already won. You've already succeeded. You are successful. So you know the things you need to do. Just do them. Back to you, Indra.
They were great shares. Thank you, Clint, for that really great contribution. And the thing that I took away from what you just said, Clint, was have a vision about the person that you want to be in the future and that you have to be in order to have all the things that you want in your life, you know, the love, the joy, the whatever is important to you, the career, and that's all made up of really the foundation of the discipline, taking all the action that's required, as you mentioned, and believing in yourself. If we don't have self-belief, it's as you said, we can get a little bit amped up, you know, turn on a Tony Robbins, you know. I just did the Thrive challenge with him, and wow, that was really incredible. And you know, we can find these videos, we can look at things, we can read, but again, reading is an action. When we're turning on a video, we're taking action for ourselves. So even when you look at that, you are seeking something for yourself. You are taking the action. So if we even look at the derivative of that, we are doing for ourselves. So it really is about, no matter what self-doubts we have, it's all normal, because we all do sort of oscillate, I would say, sometimes. Oh, should I be doing this post? Oh, should I be doing this video? Oh, should I be attending this? Whatever the thing is, it's all normal, and we all have these moments. But regardless of that, to push through and to truly just take action, discipline, consistency, all these things are what really make us 100% abundant and engaged to reach out to our future selves and virtually touch our future selves and say, hey, I'm on my way, in a way. So thank you, Clint, for sharing all that. It was very exciting to hear it all. So we are going to start to wrap up. Auntie C, if you want to just ask a question and make it very succinct, because we are over time.
Hello. Hi, Indra. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. This is such a wonderful space. Unfortunately, I wanted to ask 2 questions so bad. I don't know if I would have an opportunity.
That's okay. Fire away.
Okay. Clint, I had the initial question, which is, what is your definition of the abundance mindset? What is that?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you say that one again?
Can you define abundant mindset, the abundance mindset?
Yeah, I think we've spent a fair amount of time on that one.
Yes,
so far.
actually,
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, Auntie C, you could go back and listen to the replay, because that was right at the beginning where he broke everything down. What's your next What's your next
Okay, so
question?
I'll do that. I will. So my next question is, how does somebody that comes from nothing, like scarcity, how do you, when your life is going in the direction it's supposed to go, how do you build the abundant mindset?
That's always the hard one, right? Is how do you go, because a lot of people, when you have nothing, it's a lot easier to develop a scarce mindset because you have nothing. So you think, well, for me to get something, someone has to lose something. And I think when I was hearing
Right.
people earlier talk about their parents and talk about their childhood, like we didn't grow up with much money. And my parents still, if I had friends whose home life wasn't great or who didn't have much money, my parents always had open tables or open seats at the table, like on a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or whatever, Easter, right? Your typical family gatherings. So they would always say, if you ever need a place to eat, to my friends, feel free to be here. There's a place for you at the table. So even though my parents didn't have money, they still had an abundant mindset, whether it was coaching us and other kids in sports or always being the parents that said, hey, we'll drive the kids to hockey. And I never thought about that until I was older. But now that I'm a parent and I have kids in sports, and you see parents who are willing to drive kids and parents who are like, can you drive my kids? And some of them who are like, can you drive my kids every game for like 3 years? It's now, of course, they may have different job situations, what have you. But there's a bit of an abundance to that, Andy, in that mom and dad were always willing to help, always willing to set the table, to drive other kids, to coach kids, to have cookies in the cupboard for when our friends came over to eat. And often I realized they would have that for us to the detriment of themselves. And so they made a choice to teach us abundance. And so even though we didn't have the money, I learned to treat others abundantly. And then the other way you can develop it is you be in spaces like this. You have these conversations. You read books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've read that book a number of times. I've given that book to leaders on my team at work and then had book club with them to talk about each habit, because I believe that if you live that book as a leader, your team will be better for it. If you live that book as a person, the people in your life will be better for it. And so I think you talk to people, you read books, you see other people who are living that way, and you say, I want to live that way. And so you understand what it means, and you start to embody it. Now, obviously, that's easier to do if you grew up seeing it demonstrated. If you grew up with parents who were super scarce mindset and you lived in a situation where everyone around you had a scarce mindset, then it's harder to break out of it. It doesn't mean you can't. It's just harder. And so you have to look around and you have to say, do the people that I see who are living with an abundant mindset versus people who are living with a scarce mindset? 1, who looks happier? 2, whose lifestyle do I want to emulate? Whose results do I want to emulate? Like, there's all those examples of those people who are rich, but they're a-holes and they seem miserable. Well, you probably don't want to be them because clearly their money doesn't make them happy. And you see those people like Mother Teresa who are living close to poverty themselves, and they're just giving and giving, and they seem super happy. You'd probably want to be that over A over B. And there's people who are in between, right? They are wealthy. They are good humans. They are kind, a lot of people associate wealth automatically with bad people. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can be wealthy and a good human being. You can be wealthy and care about others. They don't have to be separate, right? I think a lot of people would consider me financially wealthy. And most people I interact with would consider me a nice person. So you don't have to separate the two. You can have both. And the more you see that, the more you appreciate it, the more you say, well, that's what I want for myself. And then it's learning, studying, reading how to do it. Like you listen to this recording on playback and you watch Indra's YouTube video on the topic, you read 7 Habits, and then you start slow. You start to adopt some of the habits that lead to the abundant mindset, and you continue to pick up those habits on a consistent basis until it becomes part of your DNA, right? And then at some point you may have to, I think Indra, even I'm realizing I have to be better with boundaries. You mentioned Sana earlier, and I was talking in the DMs with her last night. She was asking me some questions about a community I moderate in and time and etc. And I've said this in a few spaces over the last month, and I'm definitely in burnout mode. It's been a long year of growing on Twitter, and I don't think I appreciated each month as I grew, sort of the demands that were coming with that on my time were growing. And I just say yes to everything and everyone. And I'm realizing that abundance, yes, it has served me to get there. But I think I have to be on that, that's why earlier we talked about pairing abundance with boundaries. I have to start being a little stronger on boundaries so that I don't burn out, so that I do have that quality time with my wife and my kids, and I'm not exhausted all the time. Because if you let yourself burn out with the abundance, then you don't serve anyone, because the abundance dries up and you're sort of just, I need to sleep. So it's recognizing where you're at with that abundance and serving everybody while serving yourself. Hopefully that helped answer your question. Indra, I'll pass back to you.
Thanks so much for the question, Auntie C, and thank you for the comprehensive answer. So we're going to go to our last speaker, and I know there are so many requests, and I want to be very mindful of our guest's time, and he's been very generous to offer an extension of that, and B, it's my birthday, so I want to get on with festivities, of course. So welcome, Stephen, as always, to the Positivity Vibe Tribe.
Greetings all. Happy birthday, Indra. And howdy, Coach Clint. I was hoping that I could ask you to take us back to, I think it was in April space, and re-articulate what it means to be in and how to get in to the zone of genius, please.
Oh, great. Now you're tickling my mind. So I think, if I recall correctly, Stephen, the zone of genius is, it's, and maybe this is, back then we were talking about finding your purpose, I believe. And I tend to look at that a bit. Indra, you and I may have even talked about this when we were on the pod together the other day on YouTube, is the number one area I like to focus on, Stephen, is the Japanese concept of ikigai, which is, what am I really good at? What do I love doing? What do people need? What does the world need? What will people pay me for? And when you find that intersection, you become really happy. You become really successful. And even simpler when it comes to something like writing and Twitter, right? Is I could write about accounting all the time and people gobble it up because accounting for some reason seems to do really well on Twitter, right? You write about a cash flow statement and it blows up. People love it. And I'm a CFO. I mean, I've been doing accounting for 23 years, and I'm gosh darn good at it. And it just doesn't light my fire, Stephen. Like, if I write an accounting thread 3 times a week for the next year, I'd probably quit Twitter. I would quit writing. I would never type words again. I'd be like, I'm done. I can't do it. So your zone of genius has to be that combo of what people want you to write, what your audience wants from you, combined with what you want to provide your audience. So if I write, tomorrow I'll put out a thread on financial statements. And it won't feel that bad because I only write threads on financial statements every 3 months. And so I leverage my skills as a CFO because a fair amount of my audience wants that. They benefit from it. And I'm okay writing about it every 3 months. But when it comes to mindset, when it comes to money, when it comes to mental models, I can write about that every day. That stuff jazzes me. If it's about emotional health or meditation or stoicism or Buddhism, like I can write about that all day. Do you want to talk shadow work? I can do a 10-hour space with you on that. That I love. And so my zone of genius is when I take those things I love, like Lucas, if you want to talk about NFTs, I'm sure you could talk about NFTs, crypto, that space for like a 12-hour spaces, and you wouldn't even feel tired. But when it's something that you don't love, it's going to burn you out because you're only, and this is where the value over virality comes from. You're only doing it because you know your audience wants it. You're not doing it because it's what you want that your audience happens to also want. So find that, Stephen. That to me is your zone of genius. And it's you take the two, we all see them, the 2 circles, and you overlap them, and there's the middle piece. You take the 2 circles if you want to not do the full ikigai and you want to just do the 2. What does my audience want from me? What do I want to write about? And where those intersect, go at it all day, every day. Every once in a while, you can get out of the circle and just write something that you want to write about, even though your audience doesn't want it. You're okay doing that because it's your timeline, and it might not get engaged with as much. Throw it in every once in a while. Every once in a while, throw in something your audience wants that you don't love writing about. The majority of your time, focus on what you enjoy writing about that your audience wants. The more you do that, the more you'll be successful. And don't be afraid to find a new audience, right? If your audience doesn't want what you like writing about, don't change what you write to fit that audience. Keep writing about what you love and what you can write about every single day until the audience that's out there for that content finds you. If that makes some sense, Stephen. Hopefully that resonates with what I said back last time we were on together.
Yeah, great answer. Thank you so much. It comes down to reminding yourself of what you want to do and what you're good at, and then the outwardly is how am I being received? What does my audience want to hear? But I like the refresher on just the mindfulness part of it, which is what am I good at and what do I like to do? And I think that's a little more of what I was fishing for, and for some reason I couldn't dig it up. Thank you so much. And again, happy birthday, Indra.
Thanks so much, Stephen. So Clint, quite a few people are interested to have your Instagram handle. If you could actually write it in the comments, in the comment thread, because I definitely, if we're not already connected on Instagram, I'm definitely going to connect with you over there as well, as many people in the space will want to connect with you over there. So please, while you're putting that there, let's do a quick trip up into the nest, everybody, which is the dots above Ron and Stephen's head. Up in the nest, the first thing that we have is Saturday. We have there's this group of us that have joined, and it's called the Conversationalists, #Conversationalists. And last week we had our first chat, and it was about how our differences bring us together. And this week it's a little bit more AI. And so there's a group of us that are going to be Saturday morning. Check that out. And then, of course, there is a post from our guest Clint up in the nest there, and he's talking about especially this topic he created for this topic, this post, abundance versus scarcity mindset. So check that out. And then up in the nest, there's also special announcement for my VIP club, which is the monthly paid subscription for super followers. So we had an amazing first super followers space, and it was an AMA about my previous experience as a TV host, as a model, and my current experience as a Hollywood producer working on feature films and TV projects. And also we even crossed into some spirituality topics. So that was so much fun. And then next is thank you to our sponsors, Wordsmith Pakistan, for all that you do with the wonderful content design that you provide to us. And if you're looking for some help with content creation, their information is up in the nest. And then lastly, there is a Positivity Vibe Tribe to join here on Twitter. We are over 6,500 members already and thriving and growing abundantly. And everybody is so supportive and such beautiful posts and shares in that community. Lastly, the Abundance Mindset YouTube video that I created. It's my take and it's under 10 minutes if you want to check that out. Okay, so before we get the last thoughts from Clint, Ron, did you have any last thoughts on this space that we've had today?
I do, Indra. Thank you. Clint has been speaking about the abundance mindset, but he's also been showing it by example. He's given us his time, which if anyone knows the value of time, it's Clint. He's shared his knowledge and answered every question so thoroughly. And I just want to say I appreciate him being here. I appreciate all the listeners, the speakers, Rev, Stephen, and happy birthday again, Indra.
Thanks so much for the wrap up. Clint, over to you before we officially start to close down this space. Any last thoughts that you would like to share with this community on abundance mindset? And of course, thank you so much for posting your contact details for Instagram in the thread. So really appreciate that, because we are all going to hop over there and connect with you. I know I've had DMs. There are actually notes also in the thread about finding that out. And of course, everybody, please follow Clint, and you have to check out his podcast. You really guys, you have to check it out. So over to you, Clint.
Thank you. And one of the things I like about Instagram is right now I really repurpose my content here, but then I can write a bit more meaningfully with the long form content about sort of the juice behind it, Indra, similar to a space. So a little bit more of that long form content. And with my wife retiring in the next 2 months, she's going to take over my Instagram platform and my TikTok platform. And so she'll be having me do reels, and she'll be filming me and teaching me how to do what she wants me to do, and I will just do exactly how the boss wants me to do it. So we'll have some of that content over there too. So there's a lot of avenues for growth, because we can take some of these snippets that we have in spaces, when we say something and share something that we think is meaningful to people, then we can take that over there. Because one of the things I've realized is, Dizzy, you asked your questions earlier, and there were 4 to 5 things in that simple question that you took us through in your life. And when we answer that question for you, most of us need that answer. Not just that answer doesn't just serve you, it serves all of us. So when we can take some of those answers and we can put them into little reels, then we can share them on Instagram and everyone can benefit from them. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, Indra. The podcast, Pursuit of Learning podcast, if you like books on personal, professional, financial growth, some of them are on marketing, branding, career, etc. There's a plethora of things there, so feel free to check that out. And the one thing there was so much we talked about today, and really loved it. And I really want to come back for all of you to what Carl talked about and what he asked, because I think everybody that's in this room has something to share. If we go out for coffee, I want to ask you all questions. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know what gets you jazzed. because what gets you jazzed may be different than what gets me jazzed, but it means whatever gets you jazzed is something you can teach me about. And every single one of us in this room has stuff to teach the other people in the room. And the more we realize we have something to teach, the more we realize we have something to share, the more willing we are to share it. And when we're all willing to share what we have, we all benefit. Now, it might be hard to interact with it all because there's over 60 of us in here. And so your ability to see, I would love to see what everybody writes on a daily basis, but there's only so much time in a day. But there's always going to be someone who does see it. There's always going to be someone who does engage with it. So don't be afraid to lean into your strengths, lean into your skills, and share them with the world, because I think the world is better when we all share our true, authentic selves and put our love and our passion into what we write about, talk about, and share it with the world. So Indra, that would be what I parting.
Oh, wow. That was so inspiring. Thank you so much, Clint. And thank you for reminding all of us that every single person in this space is special, and that we all are on this journey together of learning, of sharing, and to share and be generous with your sharing, because you never know who needs to learn what you've got to share. And we are in this abundance mindset here in this space, and it has truly been an amazing space. And I just want to also say, hey, there's so many people that we couldn't get to. And Clint, we only got halfway through our questions. So you know what that means. At some point, we have to do a part 2 in the Positivity Vibe Tribe Twitter space to bring you on back, because this is a popular topic, and the community wants more of you.
I think there might be a long weekend in September with a Monday off. So if you're not booked for that September long weekend, Positivity Vibe Tribe, and you're doing it on the long weekend, hit me up, because it's always the audience probably doesn't know, but Indra knows I tend to always hit the Positivity Vibe Tribe when I'm on vacation, because it's Pacific Coast time. It doesn't fully align with a full-time day job and the Positivity Vibe Tribe. So I'm usually a vacationer. So stat holidays, I didn't even think about that intro. That can be our other avenue.
I love that. Let's connect and lock in the dates on that. Absolutely, that would be a wonderful opportunity. And also, it's not too far in the future. I was thinking maybe you wouldn't even be free that early, but we're truly blessed to have you back so soon. So thank you so much, Clint. Wow, what an incredible journey. And thank you so much for staying, because your time is so valuable, and we really appreciate it here. Your perspectives, everything that you're sharing, Clint, is just so incredible. We had a wonderful conversation on our YouTube conversation, and that is getting edited, and definitely everybody will get to hear and see you in the flesh, speaking and just sharing so many other well, I would like to say a lot of it was like real life lessons that they're so applicable to all of us. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for the interview last week. It was just truly a pleasure to be sitting there and having a wonderful conversation with you. This space has been so amazing. I'm so full of gratitude for this moment. Thank you so much, Clint, for your valuable time. You really were very generous today, and what a great birthday gift that was to me. Thank you. Everybody, make sure you are following Clint here on Twitter if you're not already. Check out his incredible podcast and jump over to Instagram. He's made a note of his Instagram handle in the comments. So check out the comments there, and thank you everybody for your interactive mode of getting in the comments today. Love it. I also want to thank our partners Bunsen and Beaker. Thank you guys so much for being such wonderful partners. Thank you to our co-host today, to RevMac Live, and to Ron Always amazing. Thank you to our speakers for your contributions, your questions and discussions. Of course, the Positivity Vibe Tribe space will be back tomorrow, same time at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and it is a community space. So for anybody that didn't have the opportunity to speak today, please come back tomorrow, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, especially because it is a community space. Hear your voices, hear your thoughts, hear your hearts. So what an incredible space. Thank you all for this journey. Thank you for celebrating my birthday here in this space. What a beautiful gift that is to have you all here. Truly, I am sending you all love, light, and blessings.
Thanks, Indra. Have a good day, everyone, and happy birthday. Enjoy the day, Indra. Bye, everyone.